Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is a beautiful 28th April 2020. Coming up in the podcast this week, I will be discussing more of my hate mail and more of my personal thoughts on the Nova Scotia tragedy and more of the COVID issue. All that and more coming up the Crusty Canuck podcast. Stay tuned.
Get it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no wrinkle bigotry here. Here you are all equal even.
This podcast is brought to you by Mad Hatter Industries, No Quarter Given, and Rampage Coffee Company. Strong, rich, and smooth. Here's Crusty. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck. And yes, as I said in the description, I'll be discussing some of my hate mail I've been receiving and other topics, especially in regards to the devastation in Nova Scotia and more of the COVID. So I'll start off this podcast with a lot of the hate mail I've been receiving. Now, back in the 20th, after some of the smoke cleared and we figured out what was going on with what happened in Nova Scotia, I posted a question on my Facebook page. I think it's time to really discuss our charter rights, especially in the name of self-defense. We need the right of self-defense without persecution and prosecution. What do you think? And believe it or not, I've got an overwhelming positive response from CC fans and others alike in regards to self-defense in this country. Now, I'm not trying to use this catastrophe to promote gun violence. So to those people out there that have accused me of being some kind of right-wing fascist fucking gun Nazi, fuck you. You're wrong. I'm no gun Nazi. I'm a gun owner and I'm an enthusiast and I'm a believer in the sport and I believe in hunting and I believe in self-defense. That's simple. I had a lot of positive response from individuals, some of my CC fans, as well as outsiders and people who have listened to the podcast and watched the videos. And people in general, and I'm grateful. Thank you very much for the kind response. But in regards to some of the quote-unquote hate mail I've received, I've had some interesting words said to me. Like I said, I'm going to respect people's privacy. I'm not going to dock anybody or dox anyone or try to ruin anyone's life or anyone's opinion. As far as I'm concerned, we're all entitled to our opinions. Doesn't matter if you like guns, doesn't matter if you don't like guns. If you like hot water, like cold water, if you like barbecues on Sundays or barbecues on Wednesdays, I don't care. I'm not judging you based on your opinion. You are entitled to your opinion as far as I'm concerned. As a North American, as a Canadian, as a grown-ass fucking adult, you are entitled to an opinion. But when you use that opinion to start harming and starting slandering people, then we've got a problem, right? I've had a few individuals come up to me and say magical things about hate speech and how I should not say this and say that because I might hurt some stranger's feelings. Well, every time you turn on the national news, every time you open a national paper, there's always something in there that's going to hurt you, something that's going to depress you or make you feel sad or make you feel bad. That's life. But some of these clowns, and I will say clowns, weighing in, saying, oh, if you want guns so much, then go live in the States. Oh, if you want to do this, go live in the States. No, I don't want to live in the States. I want to live in Canada. I love Canada. I want to live here in our home and native land. I want to live in Canada. I want to be a Canadian because I was born here. My parents were born here. My grandparents were born here. Okay? I have family members that served in the Second World War, served in Korea. My father was a firefighter. So public service is not a big deal to our family. But that service and the people that we worked with and worked for, and the people that we live with and live for, that's worth fighting for. Okay? So whether you agree to having a gun or not, that's fine. I don't promote gun violence. Oh my God, you want to have a gun. You must be a warmonger. Well, rather me have a gun than some shithead breaking into someone's house, looking for jewelry, who's armed to the teeth, who's willing to hurt and possibly kill somebody to get his loot or to get his fix or to get away with it. Okay? I, for one, I'm getting sick and tired of having to read articles about grown-ass men who have had to defend themselves and yet get dragged through the fucking court system because some officer or a couple of officers don't like this man arming himself and defending his property and his family. Now, there's many examples out there in regards to people standing up and fighting off a tyrant, whether it be raiding their farmland or raiding their home, right? There's been many examples of people standing up saying, no, you're not going to take this because it doesn't belong to you, and firing a couple of rounds, right? And yet our system is based, yes, you have the right to self-defense, but now the court has to decide how you're allowed to defend yourself. Now, in the criminal code, I know it's a fact that you are allowed to use force with force. Okay? Someone breaks in your house with a gun, well, you can have a gun too, if that's how the law reads, right? But then you're subjected to an inquisition, you're subjected to investigation, and 9 times out of 10, you might get arrested. And then you got to go to the court of law and defend yourself, where you have to spend anywhere from $5 to $10 to $15 to $20, in some cases $30 or $40 or $50,000 to defend your case for what you did, while still being under watchful eye, right? While still being on the watchful eye of the RCMP or the local authorities accordingly. Is that freedom, folks? Anyway, tell me what you think. CrustyCanuck67@gmail.com, or on the Instagram under Canuck Crusty, and on Facebook at Crusty Canuck. You can also send me a snail mail if you like. I'll leave the address and everything in the description and the links provided below this podcast. Anyway, tell me what you think. Leave a comment or two there on YouTube and on the Podbean, respectively. And let's get the debate going. But back more to this hate mail issue. I've seen more people weigh in again saying, well, if you like this, go to the States. If you like that, then become a gun nut. And say, well, I'm not a gun nut. I'm a gun enthusiast. I own firearms. I know lots of people that own firearms. But no way are we gun nuts and want to wave the stars and stripes. I'm not dissing my brothers and sisters to the South. Okay? I'm not dissing any of my American listeners out there. Right? But a lot of Canadians still forget that American gun laws are based on the state-to-state issue. Every state is different when it comes to gun laws. In Canada, gun laws are federal. Basically, what happens in Ottawa goes around the country. It's not like New Brunswick has its own, or Nova Scotia has its own, or Ontario has its own, or Alberta has its own. It's a federal jurisdiction. Okay? And some of the excuses that I have read on this page, I highly suggest go to my Facebook page and read some of the comments from my April 20th post. It's fascinating. One kid, and I will say a kid, even had the audacity to say, open carry is racist. How dare you say that? If you want open carry, that means you're a white supremacist. Really? That makes me a white supremacist because I want to open carry? Huh. So my rebuttal was, okay, what is that based on? What is that statement based on? What statistics do you have where that's based on? Huh? Oh, it's a white supremacist thing, is it? How do you figure, sunshine? So he never gave me a rebuttal, and then when I was going to type another answer to this individual, miraculously, that statement of his was gone. Now, I didn't delete it. I didn't edit it. It was taken off the page. So maybe his overseer or his brother or his father or his mother looked at that and give him a cuff upside the head for being such a stupid little shit. It's not racist to want a gun, folks. We know that. It's not racist to promote gun ownership or not to promote gun ownership. It's not racist to disagree with somebody. It's not racist to question authority. It's not racist to question somebody in the medical profession. It's not racist, and I'm getting so sick of that word being used all the time to justify a disingenuous stance on something. Like, it's so fucking pitiful. And another few comments was, oh, well, we have gun laws in this country for a reason, so you don't have to get high-capacity magazines. Well, we know that. Legally speaking, you cannot own a 30-round magazine with 30 rounds. You can have a 30-round magazine that's usually pinned or capped at 5. Okay, for those people who don't understand the meaning of semi-auto. Okay, you're allowed 5 rounds, ladies and gentlemen. Doesn't matter if you're an AR-15, doesn't matter if you have a Ruger, doesn't matter what style you have. You're only allowed 5 rounds in the semi-automatic capacity. Okay, pistols, you're only allowed 10 rounds. Okay, the only people that I know personally that have more than a 10-round capacity our police officers, and the military. I know because I carried a sidearm overseas. Right? We had more than 10 rounds in that magazine. You do the math. Okay? So when people are worried about who owns guns in this country, know the facts. Okay? The CCFR has a great website. They've got tons of information there for you to follow. And it doesn't matter if you agree with guns or not. They've got the information there. You know? National Firearms Association of Canada has excellent information too. So those individuals that are using the NRA and what happened in Chicago or Texas or other schools in the States is irrelevant. That's in America. Okay? That's in the United States. Just because something bad happens to our brothers and sisters down south doesn't mean that Canada always has to follow suit. Part of being an independent and sovereign nation is having the ability to stand on our own 2 feet and think for ourselves. Is it not? Is that right wing? They're those fucking hippie boomers that gave me a hard time? Is that right wing? Independence and freedom to choose? Independence and freedom to be? Right? I don't care if you own a gun or not. I don't judge people based on what they own. I judge people based on their actions. Okay? I judge people based on their actions and lack of them. I judge people on their lack of knowledge and the great amount of knowledge they will have. Okay? But if you're going to debate the gun issue with me, you better get your facts together. Okay? I'm open to debate. I'm open to suggestion. I can respect and appreciate other people's opinions when it comes to who can own a gun in this country. But to sit there and point a finger at me and then call me something and then call me an American wannabe or a non-Canadian when I fought for this nation, totally disingenuous and dishonest. Right? Another comment I got from a lady who called herself a Christian, and she was quite adamant about throwing God into the complex and everything too. So I listened to what she had to say, and then sitting there calling me a plebe and calling me a sheep and everything. And I basically said to her, sister, I'm the furthest thing from a sheep. Right? Secondly, I am the furthest thing from anything remotely to an animal. We are human beings, are animals, but I am not a fucking animal. Because I enjoy shooting my pistols, and I enjoy shooting my rifles, and I enjoy hunting, and I enjoy fishing, and I enjoy being outdoors. Right? That's how humans used to live prior to electricity and plumbing and building a standard cabin as we knew it. You know, we're all descendants of tribes, one way or the other. Doesn't matter if it's Celtic, doesn't matter if it's African, doesn't matter if it's First Nations, doesn't matter if it's Eastern European, Northern European, doesn't matter if it was Asia. We're all descendants of the tribal aspect, regardless, ladies and gentlemen. That's just human history. Right? So put the race cards away. Put the fascism cards away. There's nothing fascist about wanting a gun, and nothing fascist about defending yourself. No one's saying we're going to walk around like Han Solo with our blasters on our hips, you know, waiting to blow away any kind of Imperial troops. We're talking about common sense here, folks. As I say again, please, let me know how you feel. CrustyBCanuck67@gmail.com or on the Facebook under Crusty Canuck. Instagram, Canuck Crusty. You can also find me on Twitter, too. I'll leave a link on that description, as I mentioned earlier. And send me a comment. Give me a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff on YouTube and Podbean, respectively. Anyway, now a message from our sponsors. Stay tuned. Mad Hatter Industries is now your average apparel company. The apparel is a bonus and a great way to spread the idea behind creating a community that supports each other and has their brother or sisters back at a time of need. Our mission is to create a community that supports individuals to create a fighting mindset for dealing with adversity. The Mad Hatter Industries logo is meant to be something that you can place your confidence and trust in. We will watch your back and we won't let you down. For more information, you can check us out online via Instagram or Facebook at Mad Hatter Industries or through our website at www.madhatterindustries.ca. Use the podcast promo code Canuck15 to enjoy 15% off your next order. All proceeds from Mad Hatter Industries go to support mental health organizations. Rampage Coffee Company. Extremely delicious coffee. Roasted with purpose, then delivered to your favorite mug. Our delicious coffee comes packed with enough attitude to punch you out of your morning slippers. Here at Rampage Coffee Company, we provide you superior quality coffee that is delivered to the doorsteps of any Canadian who is ready to take their coffee game to the next level. We hand select quality beans to be a small batch roasted by our head roaster, which ensures unparalleled attention to details and amazing quality in all our coffee. Cheers to a freshly roasted kick-ass coffee. Rampage Coffee Company. Use the code CRUSTYCANUCK to get free shipping on the Rampage sampler. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, those are my new sponsors in the works there. Mad Hatter Industries, a young man out of Ontario, created a good service, and he's got some great apparel, and he reaches out and helps those in need. And the team that brought you Rampage Coffee, Dustin and Lauren Blanchard, young couple, entrepreneurs, very successful, and they put together a great brand, so try them out. Anyway, carrying on with the Nova Scotia issue. Every news report has been saying many different things. We're seeing more clarity. Apparently this fucking culprit, this piece of shit, owned 4 similar vehicles that he required from police auctions. Anyhow, I'll leave links to the story there in the description. You decide, but I'm tired of reading all this garbage in regards to what this individual did. We knew he was a psycho. We knew he was in police radar. We knew he did some very bad things prior to April 18th and 19th, respectively. And I don't know. Is it our justice system, ladies and gentlemen, that's failing? Bill Blair wants to release prisoners in the name of safety over the whole beer bug. And our prime minister and party officials alike are all for it. So what's that tell you? You know, even in the news today, there was a drunk driver who was getting day parole, and he killed 3 small kids and an older gentleman. Drunk driving. So what's that tell you? You know, is that more the healing lodge aspect that they gave to the killer of Tori Stafford? You know, remember that case back in 2009? Little girl that was bludgeoned by a hammer and left for dead by a creeping woman and a creeping man. Okay. And they found out, last year, 2 years ago, that she was in a sweat lodge healing. Wow, that's justice, eh? Yeah, okay. So, food for thought. You know, give you a comment or two on YouTube and Podbean. Tell me what you think. It's turning into a real shit show, folks. Anyway, back to more of the bug. Back to more of the beer bug there. You know, every day we're finding more and more people coming up with conclusions and people getting frustrated from being secluded and being locked up in their homes. Now, it's not a big deal. You know, you've seen a lot of memes on social media in regards to people that were actual prisoners who actually committed crimes, and they're talking about, well, you know, living in a 6x8 for 3 years is worse than being confined to your house. Granted, but when you're in a 6x8, you committed a crime, you did a bad thing, and we all know it. But to the Canadian people and to my American listeners and British listeners and European listeners alike who are questioning the status quo, questioning the authority on this, what is going on, right? They're talking about a vaccine, and they're talking about pills, and they spend more time worrying about what Trump is saying and what this guy is saying. And, oh my God, it's racist to call Theresa Tam out in her bullshit. Oh, it's sexist to call Patty Haydu out in her bullshit. Well, then stop telling bullshit, and you won't be called out on it. And it's not sexist to question it. It's not racist to question it. I've said that before numerous times here in the podcast. You know, if a grown person goes out of his or her way to harm somebody because of the color of their skin, then therefore that action would be racist, would it not be? But if a grown-ass man or woman questions the authority and the ability of another grown-ass man or woman, is that not critical thinking? Is that not being critical? Right? We got to stop playing on words and show some intestinal fortitude and get mad and ask the questions. Now, where I work, there are a lot of people that are skeptical. And they're not skeptical because it's trendy. They're skeptical because of their educational background and because of what they deal with on a daily basis. And we've had lengthy conversations in regards to that, in regards to what does the government mean by doing this? What does the government mean by doing that? And as much as I hate to always bring politics to the bar or to wherever we hang out or socialize, we've got to ask these questions here. Okay? We already know that Justin gave away so many medical supplies to China during this pandemic, and yet nothing left for Canadians. And then we see on TikTok, I don't subscribe to that, by the way, but we see a lot of nurses and doctors dancing. I can see it being a morale thing, by all means. But if they have so much time to sit and dance and make videos, and yet all these hospitals are apparently overrun, so we hear, whether there be a few hospitals in Ontario or a few here in Alberta or a few out everywhere else in the democratic world, how come so many physicians and medical practitioners and nurses and paramedics alike have time to dance and make videos? Something to think about, eh? I'm not questioning the integrity of our medical professionals, not in the slightest. I have the utmost respect for them. I have the utmost respect for members of the RCMP. I have the utmost respect for some of the leaders that I work with in the military and some of the people I call friend today. Right? But like I say, it's the actions. Now, I'm not judging medical professionals on the actions of a few people that make a video, nor am I judging the RCMP based on the few actions of those in Nova Scotia that one failed to report or failed to say anything or failed to get permission. That's a different can of worms altogether. I have to investigate that more before I make any kind of conclusions on that. But like I said, I've played hockey and I've worked with RCMP officers, and they're really straight up people. You know, their integrity is fucking fantastic. Their humanity is fantastic, and they're well-seasoned professionals too. And I highly doubt they're going to knock on my door any day and ask me to see my guns. That's just how we roll, some of these guys. But a good friend of mine is also an OPP officer too. So, you know, when I see anything bad happen to the police services, it's got to be investigated, you know, and a handful of shitheads isn't going to ruin or tarnish the integrity and the image of a noble service in this country, right? They tried that with the airborne back in the 90s. And I personally worked for people that were in the airborne, and they were nothing like the media made them to be. They weren't racist. They weren't bigots. They weren't tyrants. They were switched on leaders. They were fucking great soldiers, tough as fucking nails. And they're the kind of people you never wanted to fucking mess with. And I'm not just saying for the sake of ego or you shoot your mouth off in a bar. I'm talking the kind of people that are willing to fucking get up and defend what is right in a fucking New York second. So that puts things in perspective too, ladies and gentlemen. The media has spun a lot of this shit to a really nasty degree. And it gets depressing. You know, my wife and I actually had a good, well, I guess it was an argument. I guess you could say, yeah. You know, there was no right or wrong. It's just we basically raised our voices and talked about how depressing it can be. You turn on the local news. This is what's going on. You turn on the national news. This is what's going on. You read any kind of national article. This is what goes on. You know, then you got people weighing in saying, well, this news source is fake and that news source is fake. And oh my God, what's fake? What's fake? So people are starting to be afraid to think for themselves. Well, which brings me back to my next point in regards to more of my hate mail. An individual. Oh God, it was so funny as I read it. I more or less told him, when you look at independent media outlets, they don't get paid all the big bucks. They don't. They thrive on donations and they thrive on courtesies and people they've made friends with throughout their years in journalism or media studies or whatever they've done. And they get this story out there to the best of their ability. And I have to say, most of the independent media that I've read, i.e. the Post-Millennial, Rebel News, Daniel Boardman and his incredible work, Adam Daniel Manzay, Frank P. Vaughan, they take the time and they read and they research, just like what we were taught in school when it comes to writing essays or writing short stories. You know, research your characters, research this, what's their background, what they do. Blah, blah, blah. Do a character sketch. But you're not going to do a character sketch when you're actually writing an article on a situation. You're going to take the information you have and display it and get it out there to the best of your effing ability. Okay? That's one of the things I try to do too. I'm just basically doing a point of view and I do commentary. That's it. I'm not an investigative journalist. Nor have I ever said I was. But more and more people are getting into independent media because they're getting sick and tired of the garbage. You know, they may disagree with Trump, but they're getting sick and tired of hearing about it. They may disagree with Justin Trudeau, but they're getting sick and tired of hearing about it. So they want to see other points of view and hear other things. And there's always a handful of people that sit on their hands and going, oh, wait, you can't do that. That's fake. That's fake. Well, I've actually met some members of Rebel News, and they're down-to-earth people. I've met some members from the Post-Millennial. They're down-to-earth people. I myself wrote a couple articles of the Post-Millennial when it was just starting out. thinking that was some kind of direction I might get into. But I'm better off being a commentator right now. But I think you see my point, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a point of sucking eggs or towing a line. It's a point of thinking for yourself. But like I've said before numerous times, due diligence. Let's keep this in perspective here. Right? Weather's getting better in some parts of the country. There are a lot of people out there that are questioning status quo and being skeptical. And rightfully so. They should. There's more and more people thinking about the gun issue in this country. Is it really that bad? I don't think it is, personally. Right? And if you're going to instill fear in the Canadian populace based on American statistics, then maybe you, as the leader and as the encourager, should go down and live in the States and see how they operate. Then you can have a critical point of view. Okay? But I'm also a firm believer in common sense. It's too bad that our leaders don't believe in common sense because they want to instill fear and control. But they forget that they're supposed to work for us, the Canadian taxpayer. And as long as I'm alive, I'm going to question the authority. I'm going to question their authority. I'm going to question their integrity. And I'm going to question their capability. Okay? I, for one, am getting sick and tired of people that haven't merited for anything get ahead. And I don't care if you're male or female or have 3 arms or 3 legs or identify as a pixie dust farmer. I don't care. I believe in meritocracy for a reason, meaning you do the time in said field, then you should get promoted. Not just because you represent this or represent that. You should have the smarts to do something and the ability to do something. That's how people get promoted. Keep your race cards and keep your sexist cards and your misogynistic cards away. They're irrelevant. I can tell you a lot of people in my generation are getting sick of hearing it too. And some of the upcoming kids in Gen Z there are doing the exact same thing. They're getting sick of it. They're going to question and they're going to ponder and they're going to make fun and they're going to promote their free speech, regardless of people say it's hate speech or not. And you take that statement and stick it where the sun don't shine as far as I'm concerned. All right. Anyhow, I have been Crusty Canuck on this beautiful 28th of April. I'd like to thank some of my contributors there. For somebody named Sammy gave me a donation. Thank you very much, Sammy, for that great donation. And Mr. Black, according to his email, I'm not going to give away the full names, but honorable mentions to those 2 individuals. Thank you very much for contribution. And thank you very much to everybody who has weighed in on my Facebook page and my Instagram page and said some wonderful things. Thank you very much for the compliments. And even the people that have criticized, thank you for that too, because we need criticism. We need critical thinking. We need other opinions. We need to get the spectrum open. We need to get the dialogue open. We got to keep talking. We got to keep rocking. Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Crusty Canuck on this beautiful day. And if you like what you hear and see, please give a comment, give me a thumbs up, share and like on the YouTube, get the algorithm going. Spread the word out there. Let us independent folk get ahead too. And please comment on the Podbean and everywhere else that I advertise this podcast. You know, we need more and more people out here. More and more people to get up and speak their minds and say things. You know, try to be logic, try to be coherent, try to be realistic. You know, and if you end up stepping on somebody's toes, well, fuck, so be it. That's life. Not everybody's going to be happy. Not everybody's going to be perfect. There's no such thing as utopia. Right? The biggest minority in this country is the individual. Right? So put that in the pipe and smoke it around. Like I say, I've been Crusty Canuck, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks again. If you do like what you see, please click like and subscribe and share around. Check out my merchandise. And if you do feel like donating to my Subscribestar account or my PayPal account or any other account that I have displayed on my description, please feel free to do. $1 or $2 would be just fine. I too am trying to make money at this. I'm not trying to rip anybody off. And I do give a donation when I can to the Veterans Association Food Bank. You'll see a link at the bottom there. Too, once this podcast is done. Like I say, ladies and gentlemen, I have been Crusty Canuck. Remember to look after your loved ones, family and friends, and remember, humanity and merit wins the day. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. There is no wrinkle bigotry here.